that money cannot buy. Money can buy tons of experiences, key for later, tons of freedom, tons of stuff in general. Money can buy things. What money can't buy is particular experiences that are only cultivated through hard work. Money can buy just about everything else. It can buy the simulation of those experiences. For example, you could pay a ton of money to put on an enormous boxing event, pay someone to go and pretend to be a good boxer and fight you and then take a fall. But the experience of winning that, even if you spent billions of dollars and had lavish trophies and had a full stadium cheering you on and chanting your name, it's not the same experience as working to master that skill, honing it to the point where you're able to succeed in a real event under those circumstances. And that's a very special feeling. I've spent the better part of the last 5 years cultivating a skill that money cannot buy. I mean, money can buy the gym membership to go to Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu class. Money can buy the gas you put in your car, the gi you put on, the spats you wear, the rash guard, the training equipment. It can buy everything surrounding it, but it cannot buy the skill. You can pay for private lessons, but you cannot buy skill without practicing it. And I've devoted more time than most people are able to for a bunch of reasons: life circumstances, limited responsibility, a lot more free time. I'm almost done with college, but during the time I was in college, I could devote a bunch of time to Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. And I've gained so many experiences that people with money can't buy. You can have, it doesn't matter if you have money or not, but money's not going to be able to give you the experience of putting in years of consistent effort, watching your skill in something grow, and then succeeding in unexpected ways. Maybe that's a gauntlet for 10 minutes on your birthday where you're able to tap out every other person who's able to try to submit you in that gauntlet. That's a cool experience. Maybe it's premiering on flow grappling and being able to warm up next to really high level athletes and announcing and going to behind the scenes events, reffing, coaching. All these amazing experiences you cannot buy with money. I think the problem with getting these types of experiences is that it often takes so much time and energy investment that you actually cannot be getting the money that most other people are focusing on. Most of the time in, let's just say, America right now, because that's where I live, that's the context in which this video takes place, people spend their hobby, their free time, most of their energy in something that generates money. Usually that's a job of some kind. And when that's the case, they're able to enjoy all the things that money affords, such as a nicer house, cars, freedom to travel when work allows, freedom to buy things, mostly freedom to buy things. But things can be that's undervalued. The ability to go out and purchase a new windshield for your car because your windshield is cracked is something that is super important. And to people who've spent a lot of time investing in a skill, maybe you are a musician who spent a really, really long time getting good at music, and you've had experiences that people will never be able to get. Experiences performing in front of people, feeling rhythm, being in the moment of flow of playing. Those experiences you can't buy with money. If you spent more time investing into those skills to the neglect of being able to save up and build financial options that people whose primary focus is work have been doing, you're going to be falling victim to people who actually have money but don't have the thing that money can't buy. I've seen this happen plenty of times with people on YouTube who are extraordinarily creative and have spent tons and tons of time investing time, effort, energy into their videos, and they've slowly cultivated a small audience. And then the first time someone's able to offer them any form of a paycheck that's able to actually pay their bills, they start shilling out for all the standard companies that you hear. And that's not to say you can't take sponsors, and that's not to say that everyone who's in that situation took it out of desperation. But there are instances in where people who are good athletes or up and coming basically can't afford to eat because they're spending all their time training and they haven't spent the time focusing on getting a job because there's only so much energy in a day. And when you see people who have been able to excel in a particular field, sometimes they're highly successful in all other domains, but that only happens after they've really pushed far beyond what most people are able to in a creative domain. The vast majority of people, even those who spend years and years and years and years practicing, are still not going to be able to generate any profit from it. Musicians is a great example of this. There's so many people who have spent countless hours practicing music, learning music theory, learning how to write, trying to do small gigs, all these little things, and only a fraction of musicians see any form of financial return for it. A few of them are exorbitantly successful because they push so far into this creative domain that they're actually able to start generating money from it. And this goes into the Pareto principle of how all the profit sort of, naturally flows towards people in small groups. It's almost a law of nature, but the fact of the matter is you're sort of living in this limbo state where on one hand, in one part of the day, you're exceptional. You are phenomenal in one regard. You are able to exceed what most people are able to do in art class, in your martial arts class, at the gym, lifting weights. All these little creative domains, anything that you can think of. You could be extraordinarily exceptional in this domain, and yet in the other domains, the domains that sort of allow you to do other things in life, you're completely lacking because you just can't put that same energy. In order to become great, there's sort of this death valley where you're putting energy into it and you can sink in so much energy and never see some returns, and sink and never see returns. Occasionally the people who push through start to see tremendous returns on the other side, but you can be pushing so much energy into a creative domain that's not giving you any profit. How many artists are out there on the internet trying to make a living from that? Way more than are actually seeing a profit from it. And it's a sad fate if you look at it from that perspective. From the other perspective, I've talked to people who have had the money, who have spent time really being able to grow and invest in the skill, in the things that you can buy with money, in growing those nest eggs and making the businesses and building the careers. And they always want what they can't have, which is the same with people who have the skills. The people who spent time in a creative domain but are starving artists, let's say, they want the money. The people who have the money want what the starving artist has. And the only difference between the starving artist and the person with the money is if the artist is able to go through and push to the end of their creative domain, a switch flips. How many artists are broke one day and then a song blows up and now they have actual means of, generating money? That's not uncommon to hear of. Same thing with Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. That's what this channel is about. There are so many competitors who are spending loads and loads of time investing and becoming a good competitor, and what they have to show for it is medals, is Naga trophies, is belts, which is cool, but they don't have money to pay the bills, and I think that's kind of sad. I think for me, I've experienced the negative side of investing a lot of time in making a skill, but then not profiting from it. When you're in that starving artist stage, if you push far enough in that creative domain, there is a possibility that you can suddenly generate a bunch of profits and then have the thing that money has. But there's also a possibility to where someone with money notices your creativity and then takes advantage of you early on before you have the money by underpaying you. Because truly what you're getting through pursuing a creative domain to its ends is something that's priceless. It's literally priceless because you can't buy it with money. And any price tag you put on it is too low unless it allows you to do the things that you want to do. And it's not technically it's too low because it's priceless, but if you were to wait at least 2 more years, most artists who have signed contracts wish that they didn't. Because the success, once it starts to come, it continues to come and it continues to come and it continues to come. But when you don't have it, it feels like you're pushing indefinitely into the death valley of no returns. So that's just something I wanted to get off my chest. Just some ramblings. If you made it to the end, thanks. I like these card videos. Hope you like them too. Drink kombucha. Good for your belly. YouTube stuff. Liking, commenting, subscribing, sharing. Helps the channel. That's all. Peace.
you